Welcome back. I am here with Greg and Amir from Supergiant. You guys just demoed Transistor. Such an awesome demo.
Thank you.
Guys. So amazing. So many questions here because this is a very unique game. One thing that you guys did Bastion.
Yeah.
That was you. And one thing that I've noticed from Bastion to this game is you really do seem to have a singular idea of what the world you're building is. You guys all seem to be on the same page about building a really detailed world. Can you talk about the world of Transistor and how you guys kind of work together on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it takes us quite a while to kind of put all our ideas together and turn it into something remotely coherent. So I appreciate that. But at the same time, it's definitely an important part of the process to us. We really love games that take place in imaginative settings and want to try and put that kind of stuff out there ourselves. And we just start with everyone kind of talking about the kinds of things they're interested in. So we tap into all the teams' preoccupations and interests and kind of throw it all into a giant cauldron and stir and stir and stir for many, many months until it turns into something. But we talk about, tone and atmosphere a lot early on and try to figure out what we want to achieve there, and then start building toward it, with everything from the music to the artwork to the play experience and so forth.
Yeah.
So
you definitely get kind of like a Blade Runner by way of Art Nouveau in this game, for sure.
No, that's great. We wanted to do something more science fiction themed this time around after we did something kind of more frontier fantasy in Bastion's case.
Yeah, and one thing that's particularly interesting here is the way you guys are handling combat. It's this really interesting hybrid system of real-time and sort of strategy-based. Can you tell us about the combat?
Absolutely. So similar to how we sort of develop tone and atmosphere, we build things around what people are thinking about and interested in, and we're super influenced by a lot of turn-based games. Final Fantasy Tactics, Fallout 1 and 2 are some of the sort of favorite games on the team. And so we're interested in doing something that captured that sort of tactical and strategic play, but in a more real-time, immediate, and fast-paced sort of context. So we spent a lot of time sort of iterating towards what we showed here today, where you're able to sort of stop time, plan your moves, undo it, take unlimited time figuring all that stuff out, and then resume into a tense, sort of dangerous, real-time combat system.
Yeah, you can just hack and slash as much as you want. You can jump in as much as you want,
Yeah,
and the game doesn't sort of penalize you for picking one over the other.
Yeah, and what's actually really cool about it is it allowed us to sort of turn up the pace and lethality of the sort of real-time play for people who are interested in that. Everything. So the process are a very fun enemy to tune. They're always coming after you. They're always sort of respawning out of the little cells that they drop and stuff like that. So it's actually unlocked a lot of stuff for us in the real-time play.
Yeah, we wanted it to have this kind of dramatic ebb and flow to it, where you have these kind of clutch situations where you're against the ropes and all these guys are bearing down on you and you're about to die, but you can go like, no, time out, and just totally turn things around and get out of harm's way and so forth.
And you're using this ability to stop time as well for some puzzle stuff.
Yeah.
We saw a taste of that in the demo. How complex is that getting? What sort of puzzle gameplay are we going to see?
We're still figuring that out. We don't see this as it'll be a much more I think combat-oriented game than like puzzle. But we do want to have people kind of thinking about the potential of using this mode in interesting ways. And so that's kind of the role of that particular sequence early on in the game, because a lot of players have that little like aha moment where they realize that there's more that they could do with it and so forth.
Very cool. And let's talk about the Transistor itself, your sword. You said it's going to be upgradable. There are going to be a lot of different abilities. Tell me about some of the tactics and some of the upgrades that you're going to be able to use with the Transistor.
So we showed a couple of them today. Some of my favorite ones are for example, to the jaunt power, where suddenly, it starts doing damage in the area around you when you use jaunt. So all the people who've been using it in a more sort of kiting and deliberate way, I think it will sort of, for those guys who just want to like smash faces, it will sort of unlock the ability to use it that way.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to be a face smasher.
No, I was one of those people for, as soon as we implemented it, I just jaunt into guys. I don't jaunt away from them. It takes a lot out of me to use it defensively. So, we're interested in those kind of expressive choices around powers, and that's kind of where it's going.
Yeah, we want to do stuff where it's not like you're not just gaining like 10% damage or whatever. That kind of stuff is boring. We like to just increase the functionality and like make you think about using these abilities in new ways and mix and match them in interesting ways and stuff like that.
I noticed that you guys were using the PS4 controller in an interesting way. When the Transistor talks to you, it glows on screen, and then the controller glows. Tell us a little bit more about what you're doing with the PS4 controller.
Yeah, we were able to, our engineers rather, were able to get it up and running really quickly. And one of the first things we wanted to do was make the light bar flash in sync with the sword itself, which you can see in the game. It flashes as it talks.
Yeah.
So we're even thinking about, we're thinking about even trying to use the speaker to have the voice come from the speaker itself, like you're almost holding the thing on your own. That's no promise, but it was cool to get the thing right away and immediately have ideas about what we could do with it.
I feel like it's a game that is kind of uniquely suited a little bit to the touchpad too. Have you guys looked at that?
Yeah, so we always think and consider different interfaces when we design our games. We've thought about and designed stuff for mouse and keyboard, for gamepads, and with Bastion we took that to a touch interface. The game could lend itself really well to that stuff because you can stop time at any moment, but we're super focused on the gamepad play being good for our launch, our console debut on the PS4.
So the game is about Red. It's very heavily music based in a way. Even it's not a music game, but Red is always singing to you. This music is beautiful. Tell us a little bit about how you create it, because this is all in house, right?
Yeah, it's the work of Mr. Darren Korb, our audio director and composer, music is such a big part of how we create atmosphere and mood and those things that are really important to us. And in the case of this game, it's so important that it's like an integral part of this protagonist character's entire existence in this world. It's part of her past. So you find kind of evidence of how important she is in this world all throughout the game, mainly through the presence of her music. And Darren just creates this music to fit the kind of environment and the tone and atmosphere that we want. We try to use it in interesting ways. Like, for example, when you enter the turn mode, you hear her kind of ghostly singing come into play. It's like, for us, not only does it sound cool, but it's like part of that experience of feeling very powerful in that mode and in control. Like, so
well, it also feels like you're in her head, right?
Yeah.
She's thinking,
Exactly.
and that's how she thinks.
Yeah. So you go from these very desperate real-time situations to like, no, wait, and kind of zen out. You hear her voice there, and then
Is her voice or the music going to take a more active role in gameplay?
So, we plan to evolve our use of music throughout the whole game. So I think there will be things that we're doing that are even different and more interesting than the stuff we've already shown today. The vocalist, I just want to say, is Ashley Barrett, who's also the vocalist on Bastion for the stuff we use there. So we got the whole band back together.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful stuff, guys. I love the look of the game. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking to us about Transistor. Terrence Southern's back with us in a minute, but first, let's check out the GTA 5 trailer.
What do you want, Michael?
I don't know. I want something that isn't this.
Jimmy called me a bitch!
I want to be a good dad, love my family, live the dream.
Hate you!
Why do I have to hold your hand through this whole midlife crisis bullshit? Come here!
Don't kill him!
But at the same time, I really want the other stuff too.
And you're plainly addicted to chaos.
Well, I'm not sure that's true, Doc. I'm rich, I'm miserable. I'm pretty average for this town.
I think you need a new therapist.
PlayStation.